I was trying to leave through the servants' entrance when my shoe caught on the hem of my dress, and I went down hard right in the middle of the grand ballroom. Not just any ballroom, the royal ballroom. Not just any night, the mating ball. And not just any moment, the exact second the Alphakin was walking past. I hit the marble floor with enough force to knock the breath out of my lungs. My borrowed dress tore, my carefully pinned hair came loose, and every single werewolf in that room turned to stare at the pathetic Omega who'd just face-planted in front of their king. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Instead, I felt strong hands grip my arms and lift me like I weighed nothing. I looked up into the face of the most powerful alpha in the Western Territories, King Matthias Blackwood. And before I could apologize or explain or literally die of embarrassment, he said one word that changed my entire life. Mine. My name is Lyra Ashwood, and I am an Omega, the lowest rank in the werewolf hierarchy, below alphas who lead, below betas who support, below even the regular pack members who at least have status and respect. Omegas are meant to be submissive, quiet, obedient. We're supposed to lower our eyes when alphas pass. We're supposed to serve without complaint. We're supposed to accept whatever scraps of life we're given and be grateful for them. I've never been very good at that. I grew up in the Riverwood Pack on the eastern edge of the kingdom. My parents died when I was 8 in a rogue attack. After that, I was raised by the pack, which sounds nice, except it really means I was raised by whoever needed an extra set of hands that day. I cooked, I cleaned, I mended clothes. I did whatever I was told because that's what Omegas do. We survive by being useful, by not making waves, by accepting that we'll never have the life that other wolves take for granted. Things like mates, things like families of our own, things like being seen as anything other than a servant. The mating ball happens once a year. Every unmated wolf between 18 and 30 is required to attend. It's supposed to be romantic, a chance for wolves to find their fated mates, the one person the moon goddess chose specifically for them. In reality, it's a social event where alphas show off their power, and Omegas, like me, serve drinks and stay out of the way. I've been to 3 mating balls. I've never once been on the main floor as a guest. I've always been in the servant's uniform, carrying trees and keeping my head down. This year was supposed to be the same, except my best friend Sarah had other ideas. Sarah is a beta. She has actual status in our pack. She's training to be a healer. She has a future. And for some reason, she's been my friend since we were kids. She doesn't care that I'm an Omega. She treats me like an equal. Which is why when she showed up at my door 3 days before the ball with a dress in her arms, I knew I was in trouble. No, absolutely not. You haven't even heard what I'm asking. You have a dress. That means you want me to do something stupid, so no. She pushed past me into my tiny room in the servants' quarters. You're going to the ball, as a guest, not as a servant. Sarah, I can't. You know I can't. Omegas don't attend as guests. Says who? The law says every unmated wolf attends. It doesn't say Omegas have to serve. It doesn't have to. Everyone knows that's how it works. Well, maybe it's time things changed. She held up the dress. It was beautiful. Deep green silk that probably cost more than I made in a year. Where did you even get that? My sister. She's already mated, so she doesn't need it. And before you say it won't fit, I had it altered to your measurements. You what? I had it altered because you're going to wear it. You're going to walk into that ballroom with your head held high, and you're going to spend one night not being treated like you're less than everyone else. I wanted to say no. I wanted to tell her it was too risky, that if anyone found out, I'd be punished, that Omegas who stepped out of line faced consequences. But I also wanted, just once, to feel like I mattered, like I was more than a servant, like maybe I deserved something better. So I said yes. The night of the ball, I spent 2 hours getting ready. Sarah did my hair in an intricate updo that made me look almost elegant. She did my makeup to emphasize my eyes. She helped me into the dress and found shoes that matched. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. The girl looking back at me was beautiful, confident, like someone who belonged at a royal ball. "You look perfect," Sarah said. "I look like I'm pretending to be something I'm not. You look like who you could be if the world was fair. Now come on, we're going to be late." We walked to the palace together. The ballroom was already full of wolves in their finest clothes. The chandeliers sparkled. Music played. Couples danced. It was like something out of a fairy tale. We made it about 20 minutes before things started to go wrong. We were standing near the refreshment table when an alpha from our pack, named Marcus, spotted me. I'd served him countless times. He knew exactly what I was. His eyes narrowed. "Lyra, is that you?" I tried to make myself smaller. "Hello, Marcus. What are you doing here, dressed like that?" "I'm attending the ball, like everyone else. Omegas didn't attend as guests. You know that." "The law says every unmated wolf attends. I'm unmated, so I'm here." His face darkened. "You're making a mockery of tradition. Someone should report you to the pack alpha." Sarah stepped in between us. "She's not breaking any laws. She has every right to be here. Stay out of this beta. This is about her knowing her place. Her place is wherever she chooses to be. Now back off before I report you for harassment." Marcus looked like he wanted to argue, but Sarah's father was an important pack member. Starting a fight with her would have consequences. So he walked away, but not before shooting me a look that promised this wasn't over. "Maybe I should go," I said.
"Maybe I should just leave before this gets worse." "No, you're staying. You deserve to be here." We stayed another hour. I tried to enjoy myself, tried to pretend I belonged, but everywhere I looked, I saw wolves staring, whispering, judging. Then the king arrived. I'd never seen him in person before. He was taller than I expected, maybe 6'4", broad shoulders, dark hair, eyes that seemed to see everything. Power radiated off him in waves that made my Omega wolf want to submit just from being in the same room. The crowd parted as he walked through. Everyone bowed, everyone showed respect. He acknowledged them with small nods, but didn't stop walking. He was headed toward the exit, leaving early like kings do when they have more important things to attend to. That's when I decided I should leave too. If the king was gone, maybe people would stop staring at me. Maybe I could slip out through the servants' entrance and pretend this whole night never happened. I started making my way toward the side door. I was almost there, almost free. Then my shoe caught on my hem and I fell. The sound of me hitting the marble floor echoed through the whole ballroom. The music stopped, conversations died. Everyone turned to look at the clumsy Omega who just ruined the dignified atmosphere. I wanted to cry. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to be literally anywhere else in the world. Then I felt hands on my arms. Strong hands. Gentle, but firm. Lifting me to my feet like I weighed nothing. I looked up. The Alpha King was standing in front of me, holding me, staring at me with eyes that had turned completely gold. His wolf was at the surface, and I knew. In that moment, I knew. The moon goddess had played the cruelest joke in the history of jokes, because the scent coming off him, the pull I felt toward him, the way my Omega wolf was screaming at me to submit and present and accept, it all meant one impossible thing. The Alpha King was my mate. My fated mate. The one person in the entire world meant for me, and there was no way this was going to end well for me. He stared at me for what felt like an eternity. His grip on my arms tightened slightly. His wolf was definitely at the surface now. I could see it in his eyes, feel it in the power rolling off him in waves. Then he spoke. One word. Clear and commanding and final. Mine. The ballroom erupted. People gasped. People whispered. People started talking all at once. Because the Alpha King had just claimed an Omega,
in front of hundreds of witnesses, in front of the most powerful wolves in the kingdom. He'd claimed me. I couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't process what had just happened. He released my arms, but moved one hand to my lower back, possessive, protective. "You're coming with me." It wasn't a question, it was a command. And my Omega Wolf, the traitorous thing, wanted nothing more than to obey. "Your Majesty, I'm an Omega. I'm not, this isn't, you can't." "I can. I just did. Now walk with me before I carry you out of here." He started moving toward the exit. His hand on my back guided me with him. I had no choice but to follow. Every eye in that ballroom followed us. I heard whispers. "Is that an Omega? The king claimed an Omega? This can't be real. The council will never allow it." We walked out of the ballroom and down a corridor I'd never been in before, probably because servants weren't allowed in this part of the palace. He led me to a set of double doors, pushed them open, ushered me inside. It was an office. Massive desk, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, windows overlooking the palace gardens. He closed the doors behind us and turned to look at me. Really look at me. "What's your name?" "Lyra. Lyra Ashwood." "Pack?" "Riverwood." "And you are an Omega?" It wasn't a question, but I answered anyway. "Yes." He ran a hand through his hair. "Of course you are. The moon goddess has quite the sense of humor. Your Majesty, I don't understand what's happening. What's happening is that you're my mate, my fated mate, and I just claimed you in front of half the kingdom. But I'm an Omega. You're the Alpha King. This isn't... There are rules, protocols. You can't just claim an Omega." "I already did. What's done is done." "But the council, your advisors, they'll never accept me." "They don't have a choice. Neither do we. The moon goddess chose you for me. That's not something we can reject." I laughed. It came out slightly hysterical. "You don't understand. Omegas don't become queens. We don't even become lunas of regular packs. We're servants. We're meant to submit and obey and stay in our place. I can't. I'm not qualified to be your mate." "Then you'll learn. I'll teach you." "Why? Why would you want me? You could reject the bond. You're an Alpha King. You could claim it's for the good of the kingdom. You could choose someone appropriate, someone who actually knows how to be a queen." He walked toward me. Stopped when he was close enough to touch, but didn't reach out. "Do you feel it? The pull between us?" I did. I felt it like a physical thing, like a rope connecting my soul to his. "Yes. That's the mate bond. That's the moon goddess telling us we belong together. I've been looking for my mate for 10 years. 10 years of attending these ridiculous balls. 10 years of hoping. And tonight I find you? Do you really think I'm going to reject you because of your rank?" "Most alphas would. I'm not most alphas. I'm your mate, and you're mine. Nothing else matters. Everything else matters. Your council will fight this. Your people will question it. Other packs will see it as weakness. Let them. I've been king for 8 years. I've secured borders. I've made alliances. I've proven my strength 100 times over. If they think claiming my fated mate is weakness, they can try to challenge me. They won't win." The certainty in his voice was both terrifying and comforting. "I don't know how to be a queen." "You don't have to be a queen tonight. Tonight you just have to accept that we're mates. Everything else we'll figure out together. What if I can't do this? What if I fail? Then we fail together." "But I don't think you will. You walked into a royal ball as an Omega. You held your head high even though everyone was staring. You fell in front of hundreds of wolves and got back up. That takes courage. That takes strength. Those are qualities a queen needs." I was terrified the entire time. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. He reached out slowly, giving me time to pull away, touched my face gently. "I know this is overwhelming. I know your life just changed in ways you never imagined. but I need you to understand something. I will protect you. I will stand with you. I will help you navigate this world you've been thrown into. You're not alone in this." Tears started falling before I could stop them. "I'm scared." "I know, but you're safe. I promise you're safe." He pulled me into his arms, and for the first time since I fell in that ballroom, I let myself breathe. Let myself feel the mate bond wrapping around us. Let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, this could work. We stood like that for a long time. Then there was a knock at the door. "Your Majesty, the council is requesting an immediate audience." He sighed. "Of course they are." He pulled back and looked at me. "Are you ready to face them?" "No, but I don't think I have a choice." "You always have a choice. I can send them away. Deal with us tomorrow." "No. If we're doing this, we should start now, before I lose my nerve." He smiled. "Brave and beautiful. I'm a lucky male. You're about to have every wolf in your kingdom questioning your judgment. I'm not sure that counts as lucky. I claimed my fated mate. That's the definition of lucky. Everything else is just politics." He took my hand. "Stay close to me. Let me do the talking, and remember, you belong here just as much as any of them." We walked back into the hallway, down corridors that seemed to go on forever, finally reached a set of ornate doors. Guards opened them as we approached. The council room was circular, a large table in the center, chairs around it for at least 20 people. Most of them were already filled. Older wolves, powerful wolves, wolves who'd probably been advising the crown for decades. They all stood when the king entered. They all stared at me. The king led me to his chair at the head of the table, pulled out the chair next to it for me. "Please sit." I sat. He sat. Everyone else sat. Then an older alpha with gray hair and cold eyes spoke. "Your Majesty, we need to discuss what happened tonight. What happened is I found my mate. There's nothing to discuss." "With respect, Your Majesty, there's a great deal to discuss. You claimed an omega, in public, without consulting the council. This is highly irregular. Irregular or not, it's done. Lyra Ashwood is my fated mate. The moon goddess chose her for me. I've claimed her. She's under my protection now." A woman with sharp features leaned forward. "Your Majesty, we understand the mate bond is powerful, but you must see how this looks. An Omega Queen? The other packs will never respect her. They'll see this as a sign of weakness. Then they'll be wrong. My mate's rank has no bearing on her worth or her ability to stand beside me. But she has no training, no education in politics or diplomacy, no understanding of how to run a kingdom." The king's voice hardened. "Then she'll learn, just like every queen before her learned, just like I learned when I became king at 18. Or have you all forgotten I was barely an adult when my father died, that I had to learn everything while grieving and fighting off challenges to my rule?" The room went quiet. "Lyra is my mate. She will be my queen. The council's job is to advise and support, not to question the moon goddess's choice. Is that clear?" Reluctant nods around the table, but I could see the doubt in their eyes, the judgment. They didn't think I was good enough, and maybe they were right. Another council member spoke. "What about her pack, Riverwood? Have you contacted them?" "Not yet. That will happen tomorrow. They'll expect compensation for losing an Omega, even if she is your mate." I spoke for the first time. "Excuse me, but I'm not property. My pack doesn't need compensation for losing me." The woman with sharp features looked at me like I was a child speaking out of turn. "Omegas are assets to their packs. They provide labor and support. Your pack will have lost that. Tradition demands compensation. Tradition also demanded I serve at the ball instead of attending as a guest, but I attended anyway. Maybe some traditions need to change." The king's hand found mine under the table, squeezed. I couldn't tell if it was approval or a warning to be quiet. The council meeting lasted another hour. They discussed protocols and ceremonies, announcements that needed to be made, security considerations, 1,000 details about how to handle the king suddenly having a mate. I stayed quiet for most of it, listened and tried to absorb as much as I could. When it finally ended, the king stood. "That's enough for tonight. We'll reconvene tomorrow to finalize plans. For now, I'm taking my mate to her new quarters." He walked down more hallways, finally stopped in front of another set of double doors. These are the Queen's chambers. They've been empty since my mother died 6 years ago, but they're yours now. He opened the doors. The rooms inside were incredible. A sitting room with comfortable furniture and more books than I'd ever seen outside a library. A bedroom with a bed so large it could probably fit 5 people. A bathroom with a tub I could swim in. Windows overlooking gardens I'd only seen from a distance. This is too much. This is what you deserve. There's a dressing room through that door. My chambers are through the door on the right. Connected but separate. I won't enter unless you invite me. You have privacy here, safety, space to adjust to everything that's happened. Where will you be? In my chambers, right next door. If you need me, just call. I'll hear you. The mate bond will make sure of it. He hesitated. I know this is overwhelming. I know you need time, but I want you to know that I meant what I said earlier. You're mine now, and I protect what's mine. I'm not used to belonging to anyone. You don't belong to me like property. You belong with me, as my equal, as my mate. There's a difference. He left before I could respond, and I stood in the middle of the most beautiful room I'd ever seen, trying to process that this was my life now. That morning, I'd been an Omega servant. By nightfall, I was the claimed mate of the Alpha King. I didn't sleep that night. I explored every inch of my new chambers, found clothes in the dressing room that fit perfectly. Someone had anticipated this. Someone had been preparing for the king to find his meat. I wondered if they'd been expecting an Omega. I doubted it. The sun was rising when there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find Sarah standing there with tears streaming down her face. She pulled me into a hug so tight I could barely breathe. I can't believe it. I can't believe the king is your mate. Lyra, do you know what this means? It means my life is never going to be normal again. It means you're going to be queen. It means every Omega in this kingdom is going to have hope. It means things are going to change. Or it means I'm going to fail spectacularly and embarrass myself and the king and prove that Omegas really don't belong in positions of power. Stop. You're not going to fail. You're the strongest person I know. I'm an Omega, Sarah. I'm not strong. I'm just stubborn. Sometimes that's the same thing. She stayed with me for an hour, helped me pick out clothes for the day, did my hair again because it had come completely loose during the night, gave me a pep talk about how I could do this. I didn't believe her, but I appreciated the effort. The king, Matthias, showed up mid-morning. I need to make an official announcement about our meeting. The whole kingdom needs to know. Are you ready? No, but I don't think I will ever be ready, so we might as well do it now. He took me to a balcony overlooking the main courtyard. Hundreds of wolves were already gathered below. Word had spread fast. The king stepped forward. The crowd went silent. My people. Last night at the mating ball, I found my fated mate, the one the moon goddess chose for me. I've waited 10 years for this moment, and I'm honored to introduce you to your future queen, Lyra Ashwood of the Riverwood Pack. He pulled me forward. The crowd erupted, some cheering, some shocked silence, some clearly upset. I could hear the whispers even from up here. She's an Omega. The king made it an Omega. This is a disaster. Matthias's hand found my lower back again, that possessive, protective touch. I know some of you are surprised. Some of you may even disapprove. But the mate bond is sacred. It's chosen by the moon goddess herself. Lyra is my fated mate. She will be my queen, and she will have my full support and protection. I expect the same from all of you. The crowd was clearly divided, but no one dared speak against their king. Not to his face, not in this moment. We went back inside. Matthias looked at me. That went better than I expected. Half of them looked horrified. Only half? Definitely better than expected. I couldn't help but laugh. You're ridiculous. I'm an optimist. There's a difference.
The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. Matthias assigned me tutors, people to teach me etiquette and politics and history, everything a queen should know. I studied from dawn until late into the night. My brain felt like it was going to explode. The council continued to meet regularly, continued to question whether I was fit to be queen, continued to look for ways to undermine my position. Matthias shut them down every time, but I could see the toll it was taking on him, the stress of defending me while also running a kingdom. Other packs started making noise. Some supported the king's choice, most didn't. They saw an Omega Queen as weakness, as something to exploit. There were rumors of challenges coming, of alphas who thought they could take the throne if they defeated Matthias in combat. Through all of it, Matthias was patient with me, kind, supportive. He never made me feel inadequate even when I struggled, never made me feel like I was a burden. Every night, he'd come to my chambers. We'd talk for hours about everything and nothing, about his childhood and mine, about his fears and my doubts, about what kind of future we wanted to build. We didn't complete the mating bond. That required intimacy I wasn't ready for. He never pushed, never demanded, just waited. Let me set the pace. Let me come to terms with everything that had changed. Then one night, about a month after the ball, everything fell apart. I was in the library researching trade agreements because apparently that was something queens needed to understand. It was late, past midnight. Most of the palace was asleep. I heard shouting, then running footsteps, then alarms. The palace was under attack. Guards burst into the library. "My queen, you need to come with us. Now. We're moving you to the safe room." "What's happening? Where's Matthias?" "The king is dealing with the threat. Our job is to protect you." They rushed me through corridors I'd never seen, down stairs that seemed to go on forever, finally into a reinforced room deep under the palace. There were other people there, important pack members, council members, all looking terrified. I grabbed one of the guards. "Tell me what's happening. Is Matthias okay?" "There are rogues attacking, at least 50 of them, led by an alpha who's challenging the king for the throne." "Who?" "Marcus Thorne from the Riverwood pack." My blood went cold. Marcus, the alpha who'd confronted me at the ball, who'd said I was making a mockery of tradition, he was challenging Matthias because of me? "I need to see the king." "You're safer here." "I don't care about safe. My mate is fighting, and I need to see him. Now." The guard looked torn, but he must have seen something in my face because he nodded. "Follow me, but stay close." We went back up the stairs, through corridors that now had guards posted every few feet, finally to a balcony overlooking the main courtyard. Below, I could see them, Matthias and Marcus facing each other, both in wolf form, both massive and powerful and ready to fight to the death. Other wolves circled around them, rogues on one side, royal guards on the other. "If Marcus wins," I said quietly, "what happens to me?" The guard next to me hesitated. "The mate bond would break. You'd feel it. It would be painful. And then you'd be unprotected. Marcus would likely claim you as a prize." I felt sick. This was my fault. If I hadn't gone to that ball, if I hadn't been there for Matthias to find, if I hadn't existed, none of this would be happening. Marcus lunged. Matthias dodged. They clashed in a flurry of teeth and claws and power. I couldn't look away. Couldn't breathe. Just watched my mate fighting for his life against a challenger who wanted to take everything. The fight lasted 12 minutes. The longest 12 minutes of my existence. Blood splattered the ground. Both wolves took hits. Both showed wounds. But Matthias was stronger, faster, more experienced. When Marcus finally went down with Matthias's teeth at his throat, I felt a surge of relief so strong my knees buckled. The guard caught me. "The king won." "I can see that." Matthias shifted back to human form, stood over Marcus, who was also human now, and bleeding badly. "Do you yield?" Marcus coughed blood. "I yield." "Do you acknowledge me as your king?"
Yes. Then swear fealty. Swear you'll never challenge me again. Swear you'll accept my mate as your queen. I swear it. Matthias let him go. Guards took Marcus away to be treated. Then Matthias looked up at the balcony, saw me watching. Even from this distance, I could see the relief in his eyes. I ran, down the stairs, through the corridors, out onto the grounds. He caught me as I reached him, pulled me into his arms. You shouldn't be out here. You should be in the safe room. You were fighting. Did you really think I could stay hidden while you were fighting? I hoped you'd stay safe. I was safe. You won. Of course you won. I pulled back to look at him. He had cuts on his chest, bruises forming, blood that was probably his mixed with Marcus's. You're hurt. I'm fine. Nothing that won't heal. This was my fault. He challenged you because of me. He challenged me because he's an arrogant alpha who couldn't accept that the moon goddess chose an omega for me. That's not your fault. That's his prejudice and his mistake. He nearly killed you. No, he never had a chance. I've been Alpha King for 8 years. I've fought off dozens of challenges. One more alpha who doesn't know his place was never going to defeat me. He cupped my face in his hands. But seeing you up there watching, knowing you were scared for me, that mattered. That gave me extra reason to end it quickly. I couldn't lose you. Not when I'm just starting to accept that this is real, that we're real. You're not going to lose me. I'm yours, Lyra, for as long as we both live. The mate bond doesn't break easily. Marcus said if he won, he would claim me. His eyes flashed gold. He would have tried. He wouldn't have succeeded. You think I didn't plan for that? You think I would let anyone take you? The moment I saw him in that clearing, I had guards positioned to grab you and run if necessary. You would have been out of the kingdom before he could shift back to human form. You planned my escape route while fighting to the death? I planned for everything, especially when it comes to protecting my mate. I kissed him. I didn't think about it, didn't plan it, just pressed my lips to his and poured every emotion I'd been holding back into it. He froze for a second, then kissed me back with a desperation that spoke to weeks of restraint. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. We should go inside, he said. People are watching. Let them watch. Let them see that their king has a mate who cares about him. Let them see that I'm not some weak omega who needs to hide. Let them see that we're real. He smiled, fierce and brave. How did I get so lucky? You claimed an omega who tripped in front of hundreds of people. I'm not sure that counts as luck. Best decision I ever made. That night, for the first time, I went to his chambers instead of mine. We talked until dawn, about the attack, about Marcus, about the challenges we'd still face. And somewhere in the middle of those conversations, I made a decision. I accepted the mate bond fully, accepted him, accepted this life I never asked for, but somehow desperately wanted. Completing the mate bond was intense. The connection between us exploded into something so powerful I couldn't tell where I ended and he began. Every emotion, every thought, every feeling shared between us. When it was done, I could feel him constantly, a presence in the back of my mind, warm and strong and protective. How do you feel? He asked. Complete, like I've been missing a piece of myself and I didn't even know it. That's how I've felt since the moment I caught you when you fell, like I'd found something I didn't know I was looking for. I still can't believe the moon goddess chose me for you. Why not? You're perfect. I'm an omega with no training who fell on her face in front of hundreds of people. You're a strong woman who walked into a royal ball with her head held high, who faced down a council that didn't want you, who watched me fight and refused to hide even though you were scared, who just became the first Omega Queen in the history of this kingdom. That's who you are. When I left his chambers the next morning, wearing his shirt and probably looking thoroughly claimed, I ran into several council members in the hallway. They took one look at me and knew exactly what had happened. The mate bond was complete. I was officially their queen now. whether they liked it or not. One of them, the woman with sharp features who'd questioned me from the beginning, actually smiled. "Good morning, Your Majesty." "Good morning, Counselor. I owe you an apology. I doubted your ability to be queen, but watching you last night, seeing you refuse to hide while your mate fought,
That took courage. Perhaps I was wrong about you. Perhaps you were judging me based on my rank instead of my character. Perhaps I was. I'm sorry for that. And I'm sorry it took a near disaster for me to see it." She bowed slightly. "You're going to make a fine queen." After she left, I stood in that hallway, trying not to cry, because that small moment of acceptance meant more than she could possibly know. The next few months were better. The council slowly came around. Other packs started to accept me. Not everyone, but enough. And for those who still saw me as weak, Matthias made it very clear what would happen if they challenged his queen. Word spread about what he'd done to Marcus, how he'd defended me without hesitation, how he'd been prepared to send me away rather than let anyone claim me. Alphas learned that touching me meant going to war with the most powerful king in the territories. Omegas throughout the kingdom started reaching out, sending letters, sharing their stories, thanking me for showing them they could be more than servants. Matthias and I started implementing changes, new laws that protected lower-ranked wolves, new opportunities for Omegas to receive education, new policies that made rank less important than ability. It was slow. Change always is. But it was happening. And 6 months after I tripped in that ballroom, 6 months after Matthias caught me and claimed me, I stood before the council and the court and was officially crowned queen. I wore a crown that had belonged to Matthias's mother. I spoke vows that promised to serve the kingdom. I accepted a role I never imagined I'd have. And when it was done, when Matthias took my hand and presented me as his queen, the applause was genuine. Most of it, anyway. That night, we stood on our private balcony overlooking the kingdom. "How do you feel?" he asked. Terrified, excited, overwhelmed, grateful, all of it at once. "That sounds about right." He pulled me against his chest. "You know what I think about when I look at you?" "What?" "I think about how you could have stayed home that night, how you could have refused to go to the ball, how you could have been anywhere else when I walked past, but you were there. You fell, I caught you, and my entire life changed in the best possible way." "Mine too, even though I'm still not sure I'm qualified to be queen." "You're more qualified than you think. You lead with compassion. You fight for those who can't fight for themselves. You see people for who they are instead of what rank they hold. Those are the qualities a queen needs. I learned them from being an Omega, from knowing what it feels like to be overlooked and underestimated. Then maybe the moon goddess knew exactly what she was doing. Maybe she knew this kingdom needed a queen who understood struggle, who could relate to the wolves others ignore, who could make changes that a highborn queen would never think of. Maybe. I turned in his arms to look at him. Or maybe she just has a sense of humor and thought pairing the most powerful alpha in the kingdom with a clumsy Omega would be entertaining. He laughed. "Either way, I'm grateful. For you, for us, for this life we're building together." "Me too. Even though I still can't believe sometimes that this is real, that I'm here with you. Believe it, because you're stuck with me now, for better or worse, in this life and whatever comes after. I can live with that." We stood there for a long time, just holding each other, just being together. Two people who never should have met, who never should have been mates, who were making it work anyway. My name is Lyra Blackwood. I'm 23 years old, I'm an Omega, and I'm the Queen of the Western Territories. And someday, when I have children, when I have granddaughters who ask me how I became queen,
I'll tell them the truth. I'll tell them I tripped at a ball, that the Alpha King caught me, that he claimed me in front of hundreds of witnesses, that he fought for me and protected me and believed in me when no one else did. And I'll tell them that rank doesn't determine worth, that being an Omega doesn't make you less, that sometimes the Moon Goddess has bigger plans than we can imagine, and sometimes those plans start with falling down. But what matters is who catches you when you fall, and what you do with the chance they give you to rise. Did you like my story? What city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe and support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your support. I'm looking forward to your comments. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.